Thanks very much, Jerry. Always good to be here and talk to people about the Q project. So, quick forward-looking statements. Please have a read at your leisure. Really, the target for us, we're in a major high-grade gold system, and we think that also we're getting close to near-term production. We've got a big system. We've got over 20 kilometres of strike. We're betting multiple high-grade discoveries now, with Break of Day being the highlight at around a 7-gram ore body. We have a total resource base of about 440,000 ounces. We want to be able to grow that to close to 1 million. We have 4 third-party mills nearby with capacity for feed. Really, the district we're in, the zone we're in an analogous setting to the Great Fingal deposit, which is a 2 million ounce deposit at 10 grams. And that's the ultimate for us. That's what we want to be able to discover. Company making size deposits. We're on 100% Musgrave tenure. Our deposits are on granted mining leases. And we've got multiple targets we're testing at the moment. We've got a 12,000 metre drill program. We're about 50% of the way through. We'll be starting to get drill results from the initial part of that program in the next couple of weeks. That's fully funded. So for us, we're trading roughly around that 6 cent mark. We've got a market capitalisation of about 18 million, 280 million shares on issue, as you can see. And really there, that focus is in that Q area in Western Australia. So we're about 700 kilometres up the Great Northern Highway towards the Pilbara, halfway between Mount Magnet and Meekatharra. That highway runs up right up the centre of the project area. We're drilling high impact targets at the moment, as I mentioned, and looking forward to those results starting to filter through. Really for us, our EV at a resource level is roughly around that $30 to $35 an ounce, which is low in industry standards. So there's a lot of underpinning value in the current resource base. So exploration, and there's a lot of upside there. We're looking forward to potentially getting a re-rate when we get closer to production, but also on the back of the drilling results coming forward. As many people have said, location, location, location. Right on the highway, we're in a district that's produced over 20 million ounces of gold, very low sovereign risk in Western Australia. Look, the high-grade discovery of Break of Day was made a year and a bit ago. That's a 7-gram ore body. We've got 20 kilometres of strike, as I mentioned, and new targets we're testing now. So those results will start coming through. You can see there the 2 operating mills are both within 40 kilometres of our current resources at Break of Day and Lena. We've got the Tuckabianna mill, now owned by Westgold. They was wet commissioned about 2 weeks ago, up and running. And we've also got a Ramelius mill down at Mount Magnet as well, again 40 kilometres to the south. So the Break of Day deposit, 2 vertical sub-dipping veins, high grades. You can see some of the intersections there. 11 at 54 is a highlight, but 30 at 11s, 30s at 10s. Really nice, consistent, over about 350 metre strike of an ore body. Parallel vein system. These veins are between 10 and 60 metres apart, pinching and swelling along strike. Only 130 metres further to the west, we have the Lena deposit. You can see there, whoops. So Lena's sitting out here on this side. It's only 130 metres between the deposits, and Lena, obviously mineralisation from surface. So again, at Break of Day. So we're looking at a long section here. So this is taken along the plane of the ore body. It's a combination of both veins, twilight and velvet, into the one plane on that vertical section. You can see a number of high-grade shoots on there. The red is above 20 gram metres, very high grade, and obviously the yellow down to about 5 gram metres. So we're still open at depth, and we've only drilled down to around 250 metres. You can see this line through here. This is the boundary of the current resource estimate. We've got a number of mineralisation intersections outside that boundary that are currently not calculated in the resource, including the 11 at 54 that we've drilled out here. as I mentioned, we've still got the Lena deposit as well. So we've drilled this roughly down to that 200 metre mark. It's 150 odd thousand ounces, just under the 2 gram mark, open cuttable, the majority of that. And it includes some high grade intercepts within it as well, which are defined in these high grade shoots that you can see in the red. Some of these are open at depth, and we still need to test some of these as we head down plunge. You can see from this slide as well that Lena is open at the northern end. So we're still doing some drill test work on that northern end of that ore body as well. On the development side, you can see the highway running right up the centre of the project area, and just concentric rings around the project and the deposits here at Break of Day and Lena. It's a 20 kilometre ring, 40 kilometres, 80 kilometres. And you can see the highway running up. You've got Ramelius to the south, as I mentioned, the mill at Checkers. You've got the mill at Tuckabianna, but we've also got mills up here at Bluebird. And Dora have got the Andy Well mill on care and maintenance, now sitting up here. So we can see in what's happened in WA in recent years is people have been able to truck high-grade ore, Ramelius truck high-grade ore 300 kilometres from Vivian over at Leinster all the way to put in the mill at Mount Magnet. We're very close by, we're only 40 k's away, and again at a very high grade. So it's only roughly around 10 cents per tonne kilometre to move dirt with diesel prices the way they are at the moment in WA. We want to get to a position where we can get a resource big enough to develop a standalone mine. But obviously the fallback position for us is that we have these operating hungry mills in the district. The gold recovery has been exceptional. So the MET test work we've done, we've been getting 96 to 97% gold recovery on the fresh material through Break of Day and Lena. That's conventional gravity recovery with cyanide leach processing. So very standard. Of that, there's a really high grade gravity component where we're getting 73 to 84% gravity component recovery. It's evident we can pan the gold from the drill holes that you can see there. That intersection was 244 grams, beautiful gold tail off the back of hand panning for 30 seconds. So we're getting a good recovery still on the gravity component and the weathered material, transitional, and still the consistent 96 to 97% recovery over the deposits, both Lena and Break of Day. The positive around gravity, strong gravity recovery, is that it's low reagent use. So we're not talking about having a lot of reagents required, which means low processing costs. That's good for us. We're developing our own mill, but it's also good for other mills within the district. A big component of what we're doing is growing that resource base. So really, for us, we want to be able to make new discoveries in this district. We think we can. We've got 20 kilometres of strike of belt to do that, and a lot of that has not been explored. We're looking under shallow salt lakes for the components of that, which is where we're drilling at the moment. So Great Fingal, you can see the Cunningwarra Shear, which runs all the way up from north to south, from Mount Magnet up to Meekatharra, and it's these second order splays that come off that host some of the major deposits, including Great Fingal in here at 2 million ounces at 10 grams, and Golden Crown just to the north of it, which is 500,000 ounces at about 10 grams as well. We're in a similar position 30 kilometres to the south in here, and we've got a majority of that belt that hasn't been explored, so we think there's lots to be found. Similar rock types, similar metamorphic grade, similar structure, alteration, mineralogy. We think we're in a very good zone, a very good place to make those discoveries. Just on that picture, on that 20 or 22 kilometres of strike of belt, we've been exploring to date this zone through here. And the backdrop is Landsat, so you can see the salt lake is running through the centre here, small island within it. And this is sort of typical Yilgarn regular standard geochemical, geophysical techniques work. We're now out on the lakes where we can use geophysics, but geochem is ineffective. So we're out doing some shallow drilling across some of these targets out here and testing this big zone running all the way up through the central project. So again, this is a gravity image overlaying the Landsat. The gravity is there to reflect the density differences in the rocks below the surface where we can't see them below the salt lakes. So we integrate that with the aeromagnetics and on land with the geochemistry, the drilling when we're on the lakes. And we've identified some parallel shear zones. This is Lena, this is Break of Day. There's deposits and mineralisation further to the south where you can see 4 metres at 15 at Louise. We've got 4 metres at 26 grams at Leviticus. Berlin here, another 3 at nearly 10. And the numbers target down here, we've got 5 metres at 16.5 grams. We're doing some more work on here at the moment. These shear zones run all the way up. There's 20 kilometres of strike. We're now seeing a parallel one on the other side of this gravity high. Again, runs all the way up under the Salt Lakes to the north. And we're testing some of these targets, including Lake Austin North and West Island, where historical drilling done by Perilia and Mineral Resources Australia back in the 90s has identified anomalies under the lake of about 1 kilometre long, a couple of 100 metres wide, and that's where we're doing some testing. These sort of size things are potentially around the 500,000 million ounce type targets. So just a couple of them to touch on. Lake Austin North, a number of targets that we're seeing under the tertiary sediment lake cover. This is the base of fresh rock. The drilling is just touched on the fresh rock boundary. Yet we're getting these 200 metre wide anomalies that run for about 1 kilometre north and south, including 20 metre intersections at around the 0.3 mark. No drilling in the fresh rock below, and that's what we're testing at the moment. These angled holes here are our drilling we're currently got underway at the moment. And again, this target here, 150 odd metres across, kilometre long, and historical intersection of 4 metres at 8 grams and never followed up. So we're looking for the subvertical mineralisation below this that'll be shear zone, quartz vein related, potentially on these rock type boundaries, these rheological contrasts where you're getting strong shearing. And these, as I said, these anomalies run for excessive distances, so big strong targets. West Island, very similar. You're getting the rock type change you can see from sediment to porphyry to granophylic dolerite. So very similar rock types that host Great Fingal. 400 metre wide, regolith anomalies, and mineralisation we're expecting here to be subvertical. So we're testing for those with these angled holes. So we'll be drilling for another 5 weeks, expecting some initial results through in the next couple of weeks, and look forward to results from the drilling coming all the way through to early July. Work plan for us, so we're doing regional soil geochemistry and defining new targets. We use aerial drone work as well, defining topography. This is a picture of us out on the lake at the moment, so you can see what the salt lakes in this region look like in general. So we're not talking about wet lakes, they're relatively dry. Groundwater is about 2 metres below surface though, so we need a track mounted rig to get out here and be stable on that platform. We're doing a regional structural analysis to aid in our targeting as we get out on the lakes where there's not much to see at surface. We're out air core drilling. We follow that up with some deeper RC drilling. We've got a rig that can do both, so we can do it in the one program. And at the moment we're running development studies in the background to make sure we maximise the value of the 440,000 ounces we currently have that we've got in resources. So a number of key points for us. We've got a backstop mineral resource of 440,000 ounces. We're growing that. We're getting consistent high grades at break of day. We've got potential to make significantly more discoveries in this belt. We've got 23 kilometres of strike. We've got dual parallel shear zones. We've got activity and news flow happening all the way through to late June, early July. We're fully funded for the current drilling program, which is a 12-kilometre program, 12,000 metres. We've got multiple processing options in the district. We're in a well-known mineralised area in the Murchison of WA. All the right ingredients to really get a good long-term development story, a profitable near-term development story happening. Board and management. Graham Askoff is our chairman, very experienced in the industry. Myself, I've spent 25 years in exploration and mine development with Western Mining and BHP. Kelly Ross is ex-Independence Group, and many of you know John Percival as well, very experienced broker, investment banker. So really you can follow us on Twitter, and Facebook and LinkedIn, and we look forward for exciting results going forward. Thanks very much, and I'm in the booth if anyone wants to come and have a chat.